Hello students! Okay, we're gonna be solving this question with integers. Question number 1, and it says 5 plus 7. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna identify the sign of my numbers. This is positive, and we're adding. Great. Now I'm gonna look at the examples and see if I have one example that is adding only positives. Did you find the example? Great. Yes, it's this example right here that we're gonna highlight in blue. If you have highlighters or colored pencils at home, you can follow the same strategies. And if not, it will help you to track me better. The first number here we said is positive, and we're going to identify the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is our first number. This is our second number, the positive 2. These are the chips representing the positive 2. Now my operation says that I have to combine them. Adding means putting them together. So if I put together this 6 and this 2, we get positive 8. Great. Basically, this is what we've been doing since we were in elementary. It's just that the teacher didn't mention they were positive, but they were positives actually. Conclusion, when adding positives, it's like we add since we were in elementary. We just combine them, right? Awesome. What is 5 plus 7? 12. And because both are positive, the answer is positive. It will be like just drawing all green chips, like the example we highlighted in blue. Now let's do example number 2. For example number 2, we notice we have positives and negatives. Because this negative in front of the parentheses really is just like having negative 17. Now I'm going to look for examples that have opposite signs. This example here has negative 6 and positive 2, so both are opposite. Might be. I'm going to put a question mark. Now I'm going to look at the next one, and I have positive 6 and negative 2. And these two are also opposite signs, so another question mark. The one on the bottom is only negative, so it has to be the second one or the third one. But I'm going to go back to my example 2 and analyze my numbers. What do I notice here, guys? Yes, that one that says negative, it will be like having more chips or having more absolute value. So let me go back to the anchor chart, and which one will be more like question 2? Correct, the one on the top. So we're going to highlight that in pink. I'm going to highlight this one, guys, because we have more negatives than positives, like in this example right here. So I'm going to highlight this one in pink because it matches my question number 2. Okay, this example will be as a reference. So what I'm noticing here that I have 6 negatives, and the 6 negative is represented by these 6 red chips. And then we have positive 2 that is represented by these 2 positive chips. You see that, guys? Awesome. Now we have some 0 pairs. Every time that we combine a negative and a positive, there will be 0 pairs. Basically, they disappear. So the answer must be the integer for the chips that we got more, or for the integer that has more absolute value. In this case, we got more negative chips, so our answer is negative. Or we say we have more absolute value for negative 6. Great. So we will apply the same rules here. Adding opposite signs is like subtracting. You see that here, guys? What is 6 minus 2? That's 4. Then we look at the integers and we choose the one that has more absolute value, which is the negative, and that will be our sign. So let's predict the sign first. Which one we got more? More positives or more negative? More absolute value for positive 8 or for negative 17? Yes, for negative 17. So that's going to be negative. Now it's like subtracting. So we're going to do 17 minus 8. And that's going to be 9. So the answer is negative 9. Great. Now let's look at example 3. And I'm going to use another color. And on this one, we also have opposite signs. But in this case, we have more positives. Did you identify the example? Yes, the one below, the one that we just did in pink. Great. So this example looks like having more positives than negatives. So this is the one that I'm going to use. So let's look at the numbers that we got. On the example on the anchor chart, we have positive 6 that is represented by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 6 positive chips. Then we got negative 2 that is represented by these 2 negative chips. Now, which integer has more chips, the positive or the negative? The positive, awesome. So the answer is going to be positive, great. Then because the signs are opposite, we subtract. What is 6 minus 2? 4, correct, awesome. And like we said, we keep the sign of the one that has more absolute value. In this case is the 6. Then also we can see that with the chips, because when we combine opposite signs, those become zeros. And here we have 2 zeros, so that means these 2 pairs will disappear, and we're gonna be left behind only with this 4 right here. Great, so let's apply the same rule here. In example number 3, we have opposite signs. Let's predict the sign. For which of the 2 integers we got more chips or more absolute value? For positive 15, great. So our answer is gonna be positive, great. Now because the 2 integers are opposite, we're gonna subtract them. 15 minus 8, and the answer is 7. Awesome. So in this case, the answer will be positive 7. We don't have to write the positive in front, so I'm just gonna say 7. Great. And then finally, the example number 4. When we have 2 negative integers, guys, we're gonna use this example on the bottom. And for this one, I haven't used green, so I'm gonna use a green highlighter. In this case, we have negative 6 that is represented by all the chips on the top together with 2 negatives. What do you notice on the chips? How are they? They're all negative. So when we combine them all, our answer is gonna be negative 8. Awesome. Based on this example, let's do example 4. If we have negative 5 combined with negative 6, that means all of them will be negative. So how many negatives do we have in all? 11 negatives. Excellent. Let's generate our conclusions together. Can you please look at example 1 and 4? Yes, also look at the anchor chart, the one that is blue and the one that is green. It's the last 2 on the bottom. You see them? Great. So if we look at this anchor chart, guys, if we're adding 2 integers with the same sign, we add them like we always do, and we keep the same sign anyways. Example 4, we're adding negative 5 and negative 6, we add them, it's just 11, and the answer is gonna be negative because the 2 were the same and the 2 were negative. Let's look at example 5. We add them, the 2 are positive, so the answer is 12, and the sign is positive because both were positive. You see that, guys? Now I want you to please look at example 2 and 3. What do you notice on example 2 and 3? You can also look at the chips that we have, for example, pink and example orange. Yes, the integers we're adding, they're opposites. And the sign that we keep is the one that has more absolute value, or the one that has more chips. And example number 2, which integer will have more chips? The 17, yes. So the answer is negative. On example 3, which of the 2 integers will have more chips to represent the number? Positive 15. So the answer is positive. And we also say we keep the sign of the integer with more absolute value. In this case, it's 15. And for example 2, which one has more absolute value? The negative 17. So that's why your answer is negative. Great job, guys. Don't forget to use the rules of addition for integers. That is going to be different for multiplication. Okay? Great job, guys. Thank you.